It's a rrr.
What was that noise? I
She
didn't
went rrr.
go closer. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, this is our new setup for Creative Talk. We're going to test it out over the next couple of streams just to make sure that everything's working as far as audio and sound, etc. etc. My name is Kabraska King. This is Hammer King. We are the kings.
We are the kings.
And what are we going to be talking about today, Emma?
We're going to be talking about Meta.
Meta. Look, our names are actually in the wrong place. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
Because we're actually sitting in the wrong place. So
that's okay.
That's cool. Okay. All right. Well, the sound is cool. Right. So what do you know about Meta?
Well, I know that it's another way of Facebook just trying to take over the world.
Well, that's dark and gloomy, isn't it?
That's my opinion.
Straight to the Facebook taking over the world, is it?
Like they already have. Mind you, on Facebook, it's just old people now. But
Gus, we're old.
Speak for yourself. But what they're doing with augmented reality and virtual reality, I feel, is trying to take people away from actually connecting in real life, in person, and trying to keep people segregated in their bedrooms or at home and not actually meeting people in person.
You sure you don't want to hold back at all? Like just to make sure that you're not
that's my opinion
sharing
on it.
your own personal view on
That's my
the
personal view.
domination of taking over the world?
No,
right. Okay.
That's what I think
well,
about
that's
it.
so positive.
Well, I don't think it's a positive thing. There, full stop.
You don't?
No way. We don't need this.
So for those who do not know what Amber is talking about around Meta, Meta is the new, not only rebranding, but the new product that Facebook is now going into. A metaverse of sorts of technology where they're basically rebranding from Facebook. So we should talk about that first and foremost as to why they did that. Because there's a massive reason as to why. Basically, Facebook, the brand went to shit. That's why. And they have to rebrand because it has such a negative attachment to everything they've done with data, with privacy,
fake news,
politics, the Netflix episode that came out about the whole thing that they did with Analytica. Like there's a massive amount of negativity attached to that brand, Facebook. And it's actually so globally damaging that they did have to change it. Hence, Meta. That's the new phrase, the new name that they're going under. Meta. Metaverse. Meta technology, combining basically Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and also Oculus, which is a new VR technology company they acquired around about the same time as WhatsApp, which allows you to virtually grab a headset, chuck it on your face, and go and have these virtual experiences, which is all kind of cool. Now, all of these technologies have been separated. They haven't been combined. You haven't been able to do a WhatsApp with an Instagram or a Facebook with an Insta or an Oculus with either. But what this is talking about and what you can see on screen is what Facebook's version is of their metaverse. Now, this is about combining all technologies into one experience, and that experience being known as metaverse, and really taking the virtual game into a space that combines your Facebook, your calling and messaging of WhatsApp and messages and Instagram into some kind of virtual reality world, which Amber obviously thinks is extremely negative and controlling.
Yeah.
And actually it is.
Yeah, I don't see the need for it. It's just another thing to keep people separate and keep them distracted from what's really going on.
So let's talk about the rebrand first of all, like Facebook to Meta. What's your thoughts on Facebook to Meta? Did you think that they actually needed to do it? Or do you think that they could have kept going with Facebook?
I don't. Facebook, yeah, as you said, has got a lot of negative connotations, so they probably did need to change it. But I don't like their new logo because they're playing on the infinity symbol, which is very special in the spiritual community, and they've kind of just ruined it.
They kind of just killed it.
Yeah, because it's not a proper infinity symbol, what they've used. They've made it all out of kilter. So it doesn't look even. It isn't even. Yeah. They're trying to be like all this big universal thing, which I don't really agree with.
And on the video that you're watching here, this is just some examples of what Meta's going to be able to do. So Mark Zuckerberg has chosen an iconic kind of avatar to represent himself in this virtual world. They look at a piece of art on the wall that someone who he gives a call to on WhatsApp then brings into this virtual world that everyone gets to look at. Just so happens to be an eyeball, you know, because it's an eyeball.
Oh my God, I didn't even see that.
It is
crazy.
A floating 3D virtual reality eyeball. Yes, anyway, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But as you can see, there is this technology which they're trying to make it fully immersive, fully interactive and engaging, and at the same time bring all of their technologies, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all together into this one type of universe. Now, this is kind of cool and exciting from a technology standpoint because it's never been done before. The way you can think about what this potentially could be is a new type of way of interacting on the internet, which doesn't exist right now. So for them to be the first to do it, I get it because, you know, they own Facebook. Everything. They own all the technologies with which you communicate with and interact with your family and friends anyway. So it kind of makes sense for them to do it. The only one missing out of this is YouTube and Google. And that's about it.
Pretty much.
From a Western side of things. If we talked about Asia, it's a whole nother thing. But Meta is exciting for a number of reasons. It's combining all the technologies. It's giving people a different type of experience. And, you know, it's doing it in a way that just hasn't been done. Hasn't been done before. So for that, I think it's kind of cool. Where it's kind of negative, and there's a lot of negative, is there's been a lot of people, a lot of developers that have actually been working on this idea of metaverse for a long, long time. And there's even a guy that's on TikTok that I follow who's actually created the metaverse before Facebook's metaverse. And he's actually taking them to court because they've tried to just basically own a phrase which he's been working on for almost a decade.
Well, see, this is what happens when you're mega bazillionaires like Zuckerberg.
Well, he did just buy Hawaii, you know, like a whole island and built his home on it.
Yeah.
Didn't really care. So as you can tell, we have pretty strong opinions around this whole Zuckerberg guy. Not to mention he looks like an android.
Like a robot.
And it's kind of strange looking dude. But Metaverse is trying to be something which I think is quite massive. You're talking about engaging with people in a one-to-one experience, which is fully kind of like we've done virtual, right? We've worked on virtual products.
Yeah.
And helped launch them in different countries.
Augmented reality.
And it's fully immersive. Like it's very different to watching something on a screen like you are now. It actually encapsulates your entire attention.
It makes you feel a bit sick.
Yeah, and it can be quite full on for some people who get vertigo or suffer from motion sickness. It can be quite full on. And what this is talking about is like a new way of interacting with people. It's a new way of using technology. And it's also a new way of like, I would say also working. Because you'd be like taking yourself from a laptop and a PC and a screen to now everything is just done either through smart glasses or a virtual headset.
How long do you think you'd be able to wear a virtual headset before you went but gaga, like a whole day of work? You wouldn't, right? It would make you feel sick, and after a while they get quite heavy.
Yeah, I actually think it'd be quite hard to do that for 8 hours at a time without having a break, and maybe an hour at a time. Then you have to get it off, then go back on. I feel that whole experience just hasn't really been tested enough to actually see if people like it. I personally don't like VR.
No,
I think it's full on.
Yeah.
And it's really, really quite difficult to get your head around just how much of your senses gets like out of whack.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't know where your hands are or your feet.
Yeah.
Or even looking to the side. Like it actually makes me feel quite nauseous.
And we've done all different types of like virtual reality experiences. We've done this one where in our office we had this guy bring in a full-on setup,
yes.
And we did this one where we were under the ocean and we had this whale, and you were under the ocean and you saw this whale swim past you and you could kind of interact with it. We had another one where you were standing on the top of this building.
Yeah.
And it was like
scary.
You were up high and looking down, and that was fucking scary.
And you had to walk across or something.
And then there was the swing one.
Yeah,
I couldn't even open my eyes while doing it because I felt so sick and got like,
and that was only for like a minute.
30 seconds, yeah. 30 seconds.
So imagine trying to do this and interact with people or have a meeting via virtual. Like the glasses, maybe, because that's augmented reality and you can still
which is different. See
the background and what's going on around you. But virtual reality for longer than a few minutes, I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
And it doesn't matter if it's a virtual headset or an augmented reality headset. The duration of time that you spend with something on your face like that, it's just not comfortable.
No, it gets really heavy and hot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be quite hard to get yourself around going from that. So I think there's a long way to go with this. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 5 years. If they do try and do it in the next 5 years, I actually don't believe the technology is up to the level where we can fully move from your laptop and your PC as an interactive way of working into a full virtual experience like that. I won't use it because I don't think the technology is good enough. And I don't even care if I can choose, like, choose your own little avatar like Mark's just done here. And that robot guy actually looks better than the real Mark Zuckerberg.
I was going to say that. He looks more normal.
And then you go into this virtual space. So this would be like if you had a Zoom meeting, this would be like what your Zoom meeting could look like in Meta. You have all your people, they choose their own little avatars, they're playing a game together, conversating. The space that they're in can be chosen and customized as well as their avatars and their people. And you can start having interactions with people in a full virtual space. So then Mark proceeds to call via messenger Naomi, who's supposed to be at the game, and she's out on the street with smart glasses. And these smart glasses allow her to see augmented reality artwork on the wall, which then comes to life off the wall. And then the people who are in the Zoom meeting go, hey, that's cool, let's have a look at it. And then they send it to her. I think this opens up a real wide gamut of what you could use something like this for, which is very creative. Mm-hmm. But if it all happens on that platform, yeah, you're kind of stuck at using one medium. Whereas I think the beauty of not just having it on virtual is experiencing it firsthand. Yeah. I think you're going to lose a lot of experience from putting it into virtual. Virtual's not that cool.
No. It's kind of gimmicky.
It's not, I don't get it. I don't know what the big move is to the virtual. Like, I get it because obviously he's pumping $3 billion a year for the next 10 years into this project. And also into Oculus and also into combining and rebranding. So he's got to do something big, right? Got to do something.
Well, when you make your avatar better looking than yourself, then you want to stay in virtual reality, don't you?
I think everyone would rather have the avatar Zuckerberg than the real Zuckerberg.
The weird blinky.
Worst part is, though, the acting's still bad.
Oh, yeah, no. His acting is the worst on it.
His acting's pretty crap. Oh. Not that we're any better, though, because far up.
Look,
we're professional actors right here.
A better actor than him.
So first off, Meta, big change to Facebook, rebranding, a whole bunch of assets, a whole bunch of new products. Definitely going to be a virtual space integration. Amber's already shared her positive thoughts around the whole Meta change.
I think there's zero positive thoughts coming from my side about this. I prefer to look out the window in real life or go outside and get some fresh air.
Do you think that a technology like this will replace like going to the beach and swimming and going to Paris and looking at the Eiffel Tower, or...
I hope not.
Because it can, right?
It could.
Like it
definitely
could literally be that.
I hope it doesn't. Like I hope people realize being outside in the open air is better than being stuck inside in a tiny space with a headset on for 8 hours a day.
But then that's like saying for all the gamers out there,
Yeah.
and we're watching this on Twitch, do they actually give a shit about going to the beach, or would they rather play Fortnite or whatever other game for 8 hours a day?
They'd probably rather play Fortnite.
Yeah. So then the question is this technology made for us?
No.
Our generation?
But see who's on his video.
No.
It's not Gen Z's on his video, is it?
Well, not yet, but I would say that this is probably a video for nanas and poppers like you and I to get our head around, what is this meta? What's this meta thing that is going on the Facebook?
The meta
On the
Facebook.
on the Facebook, they're doing this thing on the
some cards. Let's play euchre on the Facebook.
So I don't think it is Gen Z.
Would your son be into this? He stays in his room for 8 hours and it's dark in his room instead of going outside and playing his game.
I'm not sure, eh?
You don't know?
I'm not sure. I think he'd be keen to try it, but I also think that generation is a creature comfort generation. It would take a lot for them to move off mobile, like massive. It needs to be cool like mobile, and I'm not sure this is.
Yes.
I'm not sure. They're attached to their phones more than they are like laptops and devices. Our generation is laptops and devices. Yeah. Phone secondary. Their generation is, I don't even need a laptop. I have my phone. Like, they're attached to their phones. 100%.
Yeah.
Will there be a generation who will be attached to Google goggles, VR goggles?
Maybe the younger ones that don't have phones yet.
Oh, and then you just have the baby and you put the mask on his face and be like, here you go, baby. Watch the TV on the freaking...
Yeah, and that's the babysitter. And he just becomes like a zombie.
Oh my gosh.
Look, if we're wanting to create zombies in the world, get your kids into this.
That's a zombie right there. Mark Zuckerberg zombie.
You need to show his face when he's talking to camera. That's the funny
No, I actually chose this clip because I can't stand it. Like, he's just... There's so many meta clips on YouTube you can look at. But yeah, he just doesn't look like a real person.
No.
Like, at all.
Look, he wants to turn everyone to a robot because he is a robot. So I understand that. Robots want to create other robots.
Do you think Mark Zuckerberg's a robot?
Yes, or a droid, or what's that guy, Data?
Data from Star Trek?
Yes. He is that dude. Don't you think so?
I'm not sure. But he doesn't look... There are shots where he looks, pretty robotic.
Exactly. And his avatar there is a robot or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So if you just tuned in, we are talking about all things Facebook Meta, or just Meta, and their new rebrand, the new structure, the new technology that's going to be coming out into play. Now, as marketers, as
okay, I'll put my marketing. I'll take my
owners of the marketing company.
Tough Māori woman hat off and put on the marketing.
Well, that doesn't happen very often. As marketers, we have to use and embrace all technologies regardless, because we never know what's going to be the next big thing. As a marketer, can you see benefits in this product in ways that aren't available to us right now that could potentially be a new way of interacting with consumers?
This could be something for disabled people, maybe, where they can't leave their homes and they still want to interact with others, and maybe there's things set up for them.
They could then have a full personality that can do everything that they potentially can't do in the real world.
Yeah, so maybe there's something there for them. I was going to say for communities that don't have access to a lot of things, but no, they're still going to need money to buy a headset. They're still going to need, it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
And it will be quite hard to actually see the benefit of whether that is. I actually think there's going to be a lot of new mediums of how you can interact and pay for stuff in this virtual world.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is it all going to be pay to play?
I'm not sure. Like they talked about like this particular option here is a tipping service. So an art piece found on the wall by one group gets into another group, and for them to keep looking at it because it starts to fade out, they apply a tip to keep the artwork there so that people can interact with it.
We've worked with an augmented reality fashion designer before, and she makes some cool stuff, but her designs, her clothing is not mainstream. You know, like she's got a very niche market, and not a lot of people have you know, not a lot of people have cottoned on to augmented reality.
No.
I feel.
No, I don't think it's adopted as a mobile phone. No way.
No way.
And I don't think it's even above a Xbox console or a laptop. As far as people embracing VR technology and augmented, it's well below.
Yeah.
But you and I both know all it takes is a shit ton of money.
Oh, yeah. And marketing.
And there you go. Number one product in the world. A shit ton of money. I'm talking a shit ton. Because you basically need to have augmented headsets or smart glasses given to everyone at least 2 to 3 times.
Yeah, well, because the Google Glass didn't take off, did it?
Oh, no, it dived.
Yeah, so...
You've also got Snapchat glasses.
Oh, yeah, which...
They're shit.
Yeah.
And then you've also got Ray-Bans, who just launched a new smart glass.
Yeah.
They're shit.
So then what do you think is going to make the difference between this and others? Just the money?
The sheer, like, 2 things for me that I think will tip the conversion. Money. He has a shit ton of it.
Yeah.
Like if you're pushing $3 billion a year into this technology, which is what he's been quoted as saying he's going to do, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So I would expect to see a lot of advertising around Meta on every platform you could possibly think of, around all the benefits. He's already trying to drive a massive developer community. So people who create the content, because he actually can't do shit without them. You need developers in this world
content
to create everything. So he's going to be pumping money into that side. Like I can just see a lot of developer workshops over the next 5 years to get as much content created as possible from people who are not there. Then you've got people that are already supporting this rollout, and one of them is Sony. And Sony's technology play is to create a VR 3D animated avatar of yourself. So instead of having a robot, it's yourself.
It's kind of like, you know, how you can create one of those on your phone of you put in like your eyes, your nose.
Correct.
Like that. Yeah.
And I think those small little things, right? Like getting people to adopt the fact they can have an avatar in the world.
But then again,
and getting people to do another little small thing. Like little by little, I feel that it will happen, but it will take a lot of money.
Ages.
And a lot of cool things happening in that space for people to want to drop a laptop and their mobile phone. I don't think that's going to happen in 10 years' time.
This, you know, that whole creating an avatar like on your phone kind of thing.
I think we're the only ones that do it, you and I.
You do it like once or twice and then you never use it again, right?
Yeah, kind of.
So who's to say that people won't feel this is gimmicky and then they'll use it once or twice and then they will never do it again?
Because that brings me to the second point. They're going to have a multitude of things you can do on this, which are actually going to take or replace things that you do in the natural world. Now, if you can do that via the technology, then you could be opening yourself up to something cool. And they have a lot of staff around the world, so I'd say they'd be the first ones to adopt it. Then they have a lot of partners around the world, so they'll make them adopt it. Already, that's some of the biggest companies and the biggest employee, lists all over the planet. So there's a lot of people there that will do it, and then they will push it out. All of those companies, all those partners, you're talking media, technology, everyone, they will all push it out. And they'll push it out with something cool. Even this is cool, but I just don't see why would I use it?
Yeah.
Like, why would you use this? Why would you use a meeting room that looks like this with an avatar like yourself? And I'd be like, I just need to just talk to the people and get shit done.
Exactly.
I don't need to do all this.
Can you imagine? Because on Zoom, every day on Zoom,
fuck.
Every Zoom meeting,
you're on mute, Sally. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Every single time. Can you imagine?
We can't see
your
ya.
head's not showing. Oh,
your avatar's not working.
Your avatar's fuzzy. I can't see. Can you imagine?
And that brings me to a very valid point. The adoption of the technology is gonna take ages
and it's
for
not
a certain generation.
Yeah, it's not our generation.
So this isn't a technology that's targeted at like our gen. Definitely not. Like this is our children's generation.
I think it's the
Levi's children's or
I think it's the
D'Angelo's.
5-year-olds now. I think it's those kids.
Because in 10 years' time, this will be in all their schools.
Yeah.
Because in my day, we only had one computer in the whole school. One.
We had computers in our room that none of them worked. We had what is it? Overhead projector.
And so how many years was that ago?
A few.
Like
about
20? 2 years.
2.
Wow,
plus,
she's looking good.
2 plus 20.
22. So 2 decades. It basically took 2 decades for one, the internet to blow up, and 2, the common use of PCs, laptops, and computers in your everyday. Now you use one every day, right?
Yeah.
I use one every day, all day long.
Yes.
Even for gaming now.
Yes.
So now it's every day, all night long.
I know.
Yeah, it's a long, so that took 2 decades. So then if that took 2 decades and that was a very slow progression, with what's in place with technology now, internet.
We're going to take 2 decades.
You reckon?
Oh, 10
I reckon
years.
1.
10 years.
Yeah, I reckon 10 years.
Maybe, because kids are quite quick to pick up technology
If
now.
you ramp it up, you could make it 5.
I'd say the market wouldn't be ready. The parents wouldn't be ready. But if you wait another 10 years, then those 5-year-olds will be 15, and then they could maybe get this or persuade their parents to get it.
We'll still be around, you and I, in 10 years. We'll
be on the Facebook.
Like
look
avatar.
at that.
I can't see your avatar.
You're on mute. No, you're still on mute. Every single Zoom call.
It's gonna be an interesting time. 5 to 10 years, they could do it.
Well,
they could definitely do it.
If they continue with the lockdowns, I think everyone's going to be on virtual reality, and we're all going to turn into those fat blobs on Wally.
And then our experiences will all be virtual.
Yeah, because we'll lose the use of our legs because we'll be sitting all day, and
wow.
Then we need this. Then we'll be ringing Mark going, Mark, buddy old pal, give us Meta.
There's a lot of opportunities for brands to actually create stuff though, and then you could create scenes like if you were IKEA, for example.
They're already doing their virtual home stuff though.
Yeah, but that's on a 1-to-1 basis. As in you go on the app by yourself and you look at a table. But what if you and the kids and your partner can go into a room and look at your house and do this scenario, choosing the furniture you want, and you actually buy it while you're in this virtual space and go, yeah, I love that desk. Yeah, that color, that'd be great. Buy. Oh, I love that table. Buy. And then that stuff gets sent to your house same day. That's where they're going. That's where they want to get to.
Thing.
And that's just one supplier. Like, how many furniture suppliers are there? Thousands. Heaps. What about you for stationery? Imagine you could draw, which she's not a very good drawer, but you could draw or you could write a story in this kind of world and then test out the pen.
I can't.
Oh, look at Nana.
I can't.
Oh, she's
she's writing on paper.
She's a battle axe.
I can't.
Battle axes.
I can't actually write straight into the laptop or the computer when I'm doing creative writing or anything.
School,
I have to write it out with a pen and paper. And then once I finished it on the paper, then I'll type it in.
On the Facebook.
I'll type it on the even on the Facebook.
You type it on the Facebook.
I know, when I'm writing a long copy. Yes, I am old school. That's how
I think we're both old school, actually, getting to that point. So, yes, Meta. It's here.
So is it going to be called no longer Facebook? Is it going to be called Meta?
Oh, if you look at your phone,
is it already
Facebook's
Meta?
now Meta. What's that? Now Meta. Instagram will now be Meta. They're all rebranding into one ecosystem. No, yeah, look at this. Let me show Nana. Meta on the Facebook.
Show me how many times a day I go on Facebook.
Meta on
0.
Actually, can't really see it on this one, but on this one. On this one.
On PC, maybe.
No. Like if you go here and then you go on to the Messenger, for example. They can't show messages, but on the Facebook. Oh, here is it. Okay. quickly show you. But you will see like rebranding
Okay.
of,
I'll have a look
of their
next time I
product.
go on.
It's definitely there.
Yeah.
I have seen it. Oh, there it is right there. So like when you log into like Facebook for the first time, it says Meta down the bottom.
Oh, okay. But you would still refer to it as Facebook Meta, or they haven't removed Facebook?
Yeah, they've still got Facebook.
Yeah.
Still got Facebook and Meta. I think eventually they'll just phase it all out and it'll just be Meta. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be...
We're not that excited.
Nah. No, I'm not. I think it's for me, it's like things that take people's attention away from like being creative.
Yeah.
And engaging with one another in a real setting and going out and experiencing the world. I think anything that takes that away and puts it into a virtual space always sucks. Because people have enough screen time as it is.
Exactly. Kids have enough screen time already.
I know, I freaking have way too much screen time.
Way too much. You need to reduce.
I don't need to be fully on this platform to work and play and then create more content.
No.
But I do see content creating being completely different. You're not going to be a two-dimensional video anymore. It's going to be a full 3D world, virtual worlds.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to take someone to like JVL land, you can.
Well, maybe you can use it to interact, like brands could use it to interact with those virtual influencers, you know, like the...
Yeah, but there's not many of them.
I know, but say...
But you wouldn't even need real people anymore. You could literally create a whole list of fake avatars in the space and give them all personalities and like they become the biggest brand ever. There's a lot of things you could do with this space. A lot that's not even being thought about. Influencers would change. Public relations would change. You wouldn't have to send out product. They could do a virtual tour of product. Imagine that cost saving. Imagine how much products you don't have to send.
I know, but how are they going to stick it in their ears or on their, you know?
Why would you need to though?
Because people want to feel the material, or people want to feel the...
Oh, that's true.
You know, what it's made of, how sturdy is it, and how heavy is it. I'm thinking of headphones here. You know, that's a lot of comments that we get is the type of how does it fit? What's the weight? Like, what's the material like? Is it plastic?
True. Is it... Be the same for a car or a laptop or a device?
How do you get that? Unless they could do something which was like all sensors. And then it would have
that's probably coming next.
Yeah, fresh car smell.
Wear your suit so you can feel the real world.
Yeah. Well, like those
if that
sci-fi
happens,
movies.
We've just made a lot of money because we're the first ones to talk about it. But
but then no. Well, then we'll have to sue old
meta suits.
Old Mr. Robot Man and then lose. So don't tell anyone.
I reckon meta suits will be a thing because people not want to know what feeling feels like.
They won't know. Detached. Yeah. They'll need a meta suit.
It's pretty scary when you think about it, like people being detached from the real world because they're so caught up in this world.
Well, think about it. Gamers are doing that. You do that. Your son does that. But at least you still live in the real world and you go outside.
Only because I have to. Not because I want to. But no, you're right. I think it's quite scary and exciting. And... there's a lot more downsides than there are positives for me.
Me too.
A lot more downsides. This would be like if you did have your vision goggles on, right? Like you could literally place an advert specifically talking to that person. Hi, Amber, would you like the latest skincare products just for your complexion?
I know.
And they would literally be able to play you that.
We can send you
anytime you go on.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is very...
You should be the voiceover for that ad because your voice is really nice and sexy.
A very good voice.
And anyway.
That's it, really.
That's it, really. In conclusion.
Netta, if you have viewed Meta and you have your own opinions, we'd like to hear them. If you want to, you can drop them to us either on YouTube or on our Twitch channel or any of our social pages. We'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about Meta. For us, it's a little bit of a control tactic to take over the world scenario, maybe.
Because while you've got your goggles on, what's happening outside around you? I'll leave you with that.
No one knows really. So you've been tuned into Creative Talk. Today's discussion was all about Meta. My name is This is Sam again. We're now trying out a two kind of mic joint setup to see if it works. Hopefully it works. We'll see how it goes. So thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions around Meta, maybe talk to Nana. Nana can share with you her Meta secrets on how to use Meta.
Don't ask me. Ask the young ones.
Peace.